morning was asking us to change the timings, which I said it's just not possible. But we do have a minimum of 2 councillors, which is it makes it legal. We've got 2 councillors available. So can I pass on to the rest of the persons present? Where do I start? I go across. Yeah. Can we have some help with this then going through?
Okay. Sorry, Chair. It's Baltic Verdi here from HP Public Law, legal advisor to the panel. I think it might help if just even if not participating, if you're on there, just to say who you are. So starting with anyone from licensing first, and then we'll, like I said, we'll just go through formally all the people on behalf of the applicant, and then the objectors, if that's okay. If anyone has any objections with that. So I've introduced myself, so I'll move it to any other officers from the authority just to introduce themselves. And
good morning, guys. I'm Charlie Hennessy. I'm the Licensing Enforcement Officer for London Borough of Hounslow, and I'll be presenting the application today.
I'm JT Patel. I'm the committee clerk, and I'm just overseeing the meeting and taking some notes.
My name is James Rankin. I'm appearing on behalf of the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. It's our application.
Sorry, who was that? I'm trying to see the face.
James Rankin, representing the Commissioner.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair. I'm PC Kerry Smart, Police Licensing Officer.
PC Kerry Smart, was that?
That's correct, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right.
Good morning, Chair. I'm PC Danny Wood, Hounslow Licensing Lead Officer.
So I didn't quite catch. There was somebody talking over you.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Good morning, Chair. My name is PC Danny Wood, Hounslow Licensing Officer and the Lead Officer for this case.
Oh, we haven't met before. I usually. So you've had a changeover with the licensing officer from the police.
Steve Pillar retired, so I have replaced him within the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, no. Obviously, I worked with Steve quite a bit, but I didn't know that. Okay. No. Well, welcome, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Any more that I missed?
Good morning, Chair. I'm PC Penny Brown. I'm a police licensing officer for the West area and have been assisting with this application.
Penny Brown.
That's right.
See, Penny Brown. Okay.
Thank you.
Lastly, Chair, good morning. Graham Edwards, Metropolitan Police Licensing Sergeant. Good morning.
Right. Good morning, Brian.
That's all the police for you, Chair.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair. Good morning. My name is Molly Ponting. I'm representing legal services as well for the Metropolitan Police.
Legal Services Met Police, right? Well represented. So I'm writing all this down so my memory doesn't fail me in the middle of it. Is there anybody that's not introduced? Is the gentleman that seems to be sitting in the living room? Is he?
My name is Mr. Rai. I'm the owner of Circa, Loca, sir.
Mr. Rai?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Were you involved with the previous club on these premises?
Yes, sir. I've always owned this club, sir.
Under the previous name?
Yes, sir. Club K. Yes, sir.
Club K. That's it. That's what I was trying to figure out. So it was Club K. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Fine. Okay. Is there anybody else?
I think that's everyone, Chair.
Okay. Right. Right. Let's move on then. Right. We've already decided that I've been put to chair. So we just note that. So I move on to item 3 on the agenda, the summary review, the application Circa Loca 236A High Street, Hounslow. Right, who's making this report?
It's myself to present. So yeah, I'll just start now. So,
Okay.
this is a report to consider whether or not interim steps are required to be taken following receipt of a summary review application submitted by the Metropolitan Police under powers afforded to them under Section 53A of the Licensing Act 2003 in respect of Circa Loca 236A High Street, Hounslow, TW3 1HB. The review has been submitted because the police consider that the licensing objectives of prevention of crime and disorder are being undermined following a serious crime. Section 53C of the Licensing Act 2003 requires the licensing authority to consider the application for review and any valid representations. The licensing authority must consider whether or not interim steps are required to be taken following this review and pending a full hearing of the review application. The interim steps to be considered are to modify the conditions of the license and/or to exclude the sale of alcohol by retail from the scope of the license holder and/or to remove the designated premises supervisor from the license and/or to suspend the license. The application is for the summary review of the premises license, Section 53A Licensing Act 2003, submitted by the Metropolitan Police and is based on the prevention of crime and disorder. On Sunday, the 20th of March at 04:19 AM, there were 3 victims of a knife crime following a fight at Circa Loca 236A High Street, Hounslow, TW3 1HB, which continued amongst people in the street. The police consider that the premises licence holder has undermined the prevention of crime and disorder and licensing objective. The grounds for the application for review, which are contained in the application, have been attached as Appendix A, along with a certificate from the Chief Officer of Police. I'll hand back to you now, Chair.
Right, thank you very much. Right, so Appendix A is the police report. I'm assuming that everybody has seen this. So let's move on. Baljeet, where are we now? This list of agenda items really give me, as it talks about order of business, but
yes, that's fine, Joe. We've got that. Just one quick point. I assume no one has any interest to declare or anything like that amongst the officers or anything like that in the. But if the members could just confirm.
Well, I haven't got any interests in the area. And Medea's not from the area either, so I don't know. Can you confirm that, Medea?
That is correct, Chair. Thank you. I have no interests.
Yeah. That's fine. I assume that's the case, but obviously it's best to have it on record. It's for the chair to announce who's going to speak first and the order of business. So I presume the chair would like the applicant to present their application first to the members, and then and then it's up to members whether they want to question the applicant and then allow the license holder to speak, and then questions to the license holder, or if you want to hear both parties and then have questions then. But I will leave that to the chair. I presume you, like I said, you would want the applicant.
Can I just confirm, when you say applicant?
So the applicant in this case is the Metropolitan Police. They're the ones who brought this.
I was going to say, normally we use the word applicant in relation to the owner of the premises.
No, so this is the application for a summary review. So it's been brought by the police. So sorry,
I just want to be sure.
Absolutely. So if there's any confusion, please let me know. So as it's their application, that's one thing. Also, I assume everyone's okay with the report as read out by Mr. Hennessy. But otherwise, yes, I suggest, Chair, that you ask the applicant to present their summary review application, the grounds for doing so, and then the panel may wish to have any questions for the applicant before asking the license holder, Mr. Rye, to speak, and then have any questions for Mr. Rye.
Okay, So is that you, Charlie, that needs to come in there?
It's me, Chairman.
Right.
That'll be Mr. Rankin, sir.
Okay.
So I know, sir, good morning. I know that you and your committee member have read the papers. What I'm unclear about is whether you've seen any of the body-worn video footage.
Yes, we've seen that this morning.
Excellent, thank you. Then I can be fairly brief about this. The Commissioner's case is that these premises unarguably are associated with serious crime and serious disorder. Just to give you a little bit of detail, the incident came to light because a mobile unit of police was flagged down at 4:19 in the morning, and they were flagged down by security at the premises, who told them that there was a fight in progress. And during the course of that fight, 3 people were stabbed inside the premises. The first victim, who exited as the police attempted to enter the premises, collapsed with an injury to his groin area, a 2-centimeter cut, which appears to have severed a major artery, causing a catastrophic bleed. A second victim exited at the same time. He had been stabbed in the thigh. And then a third victim was stabbed in the right lower back with an upward thrust of a knife, which punctured his lung. There was serious loss of blood, and you will have seen from the body-worn footage that the police acted speedily. The first aid kit was retrieved from the car, tourniquets applied. And as that was happening, large numbers of patrons of these premises exited the premises, and sporadic incidents of fighting took place. You may have caught on the video an officer who was administering a tourniquet to the victim, who had a punch thrown at him and was able to avoid the punch and continue with his administration of first aid. The crowd was hostile, and that's of great concern to the police. Sporadic pockets of fighting occurred throughout the whole of that 35-minute footage. And it's of some concern that 18 police officers attended, and that included 3 members from the Armed Response Unit, Trojan. And despite those numbers, they were unable to contain the crowds and had difficulty containing the crime scenes. The 3 victims were taken to hospital, St. Mary's, where operations took place to attend to their wounds. I can say that the injuries were not life-threatening, but it's only by happenstance the police believe that a murder had not taken place. Had not the police acted as swiftly as they did in administering the first aid, then the situation may well have been different. When ambulance drivers, prior to the transportation of the 3 victims to hospital, arrived, they were unable to administer where the victims fell. Such was the hostility of the crowd. They donned personal protection vests, and the police moved the victims to a safer area where first aid could continue. The staff of the premises were defensive, maintaining that the incidents must have taken place outside the premises and that they saw nothing. The police's view is that that is a position which is, quite frankly, fanciful. A viewing of the internal CCTV of the premises indicates clearly that a fight took place on the dance floor between 40 or 50 people. Any suggestion by Mr. Rai or any of his employees that they knew nothing of what was going on is regarded with a healthy degree of skepticism. The police view is that all 3 were stabbed inside. That's reinforced by the presence of blood in the stairwell. If I can just paint a picture of the premises, you have a stairwell leading up from the ground floor. The stairwell you will have seen was jammed when the officer first appeared, with 40 or 50 people attempting to exit the premises. Upstairs, there are two rooms. One is classified as a VIP room. The other is the dance floor. And the dance floor had been booked by one person, a lady who had made a bank transfer. And the idea was that it was to be a private party. Coterminously, the VIP room had been booked for a DJ. Now, two of the victims we know are gang members from the area.
I'm going to turn my mic off. I'm on the flight path and you're probably picking up aircraft noise. I'm going to turn my mic off for the moment.
Two of the gang members we know are, two of the victims we know are gang members, and from other areas. One was from Wandsworth, a gang known as the 17 Otrey gang, O-T-R-E-Y. The second victim was from South Lamberts, and that is the Myattsfield 410 gang. And it's an even money bet that the third person who was stabbed that night was also an affiliate of a gang, because he gave false details, a false name, and a false address. And it's of concern too that these three victims, following whatever code it is that they followed, have been unhelpful to the police. So the police have no assistance from the three victims in this case, maintaining their code of silence. All they have to go on are the descriptions of the assailant, who appears to have slipped out of the premises unnoticed. The police are currently interrogating the CCTV footage at the premises to assist them. There is also an ID scanner, which, if used correctly, you know the way that these things work. If everybody is scanned into the premises and everybody provides documentation and everybody has their photograph taken, then the police job is made easier. If it wasn't used, and for the moment I cannot say whether it wasn't or was used, if it has been used correctly, then we are assisted. If it hasn't, then we are not assisted. CCTV footage has been downloaded, and it's of poor quality, and it's difficult to ascertain precisely who the assailant is, but the police investigation is ongoing. And the question is what to do. The premises have not been free of incidents. This isn't the first time that gang-associated violence has taken place at the premises. The first time was back in 2019, the 28th of October 2019, where a birthday party was held for a well-known drill artist and was attended by patrons from Brixton, Clapham and Wandsworth, and disorder took place then. And the question really is this: what should be done today? Unquestionably, the police say that the license has to be suspended. And why do we say that? Well, there is always a fear. It's in the back of every police officer's mind that there may be repercussions flowing from the incident, that there may be some form of turf warfare that takes place when one gang attempts to seek some form of reprisals for what took place that night. But more importantly, there is striking concern relating to the management of the premises. Raj, or Mr. Rai, was interviewed the next day on the 22nd of March 2022 at 10 o'clock in the morning, and a substantial number of breaches of his current license were discovered. Now, just by way of example, the DPS, who's a gentleman called Mr. Rodriguez, has to have his name posted on the premises. It was confirmed that Mr. Rodriguez is present at the premises every single day. That is a breach of condition 2. He is supposed, by virtue of condition 27, to make use of the town centre radio. It's a useful tool which allows licensed premises to communicate with each other and also with the police. That is condition 27. Mr. Rye, when interviewed, said that his radio doesn't work and nobody uses it. We do not agree with that assessment. If his radio was broken, he should have fixed it. As I've already indicated, the use of town centre radio is of vital importance. There's supposed to be a training register showing when staff were trained by virtue of condition 5. The last entry on that was in 2020, and some explanation was given about, well, the register is being updated. But the simple fact of the matter is that it was not there and present for the police to view. Now, there is a question mark about whether the premises had to give 14 days notice of the DJ event. I'm not going to major on the breach of this condition, but there is a requirement that if they are having an externally promoted event, then there is a requirement that 14 days notice must be given. That is by virtue of condition 7. SIA were present at the premises as required by their condition. But what is more important and more troubling is that the duties imposed by condition 13 of the license require those SIA, there were 6 on duty at 10 o'clock in the evening and a further 4 on duty at 11 o'clock. Their duties included by virtue of condition 13, a requirement that every person that comes into the premises be searched. And not only should they be searched, but they should also be subjected to a search with the use of a wand. Now, an examination of the CCTV footage for a period of some 10 to 12 minutes, a period selected at random, showed that not only was the SIA complement of door staff not using the wand, but that Mr. Rye was present and viewing the fact that people were not being searched with the use of a wand. Had the wand been used, then there was at least a fighting chance that the knife or knives that were brought into the premises would have been detected. When queried about this, Mr. Rye said that we don't wand everybody, we assess it on a case-by-case basis. Well, quite frankly, that's not good enough. The requirement of the condition is that everybody should be searched. And not just people who are coming into the premises, but people who are re-entering the premises. They have to be searched by virtue of condition 5. And a viewing that took place of the footage after 3 o'clock in the morning showed that in a 25 to 30 minute period, those that exited the premises were not searched when they re-entered. And furthermore, there's supposed to be no entry to the premises after 3 o'clock. That condition was comprehensively breached. Now, as I say, it's fortunate that the matters that come before you do not take the form of a murder, but that is only as a result of a combination of circumstances. So what is the position today? Well, quite clearly, says the Commissioner, to allow these premises to continue opening would be a misuse of the legislation. It's perfectly clear, says the police, that these premises in their current form and operated in the way that they are cannot be seen to be promoting the licensing objectives. And so what we would suggest is this, that the premises license is suspended for the moment, whilst the police review their options about what it is that they wish to seek in the ultimate review proceedings. Now, I'm going to say this, that all options are open, but the question of revocation is fairly and squarely on the table. And if further investigation of the events of that night reveal additional failings, then the police will have little or no hesitation in urging the committee on the review to revoke the license itself. Now, I'm sorry if I've taken rather long in that. I've got officers there who can assist me with the detail, but I was going to leave my case there and respond to any questions that you have. And I think you're still muted, Chairman.
You're right, yes. The aeroplanes have suddenly diverted as well. They haven't come over recently. So I'm hoping they stay, well, I'm not hoping they stay away, but, you know, too many livelihoods are dependent upon it. But anyway, Medea, do you have any questions of Mr. Rankin?
Thank you, Chair. Not at the moment. Thank you.
No, I'm similar of your very extensive presentation, Mr. Rankin. Thank you very much. I don't have any questions at this moment. So I don't know if you want some of the officers to stand in at this point and make further presentations.
Well, I was going to leave them open for questions, just in case Mr. Rye had any questions of my officers.
Okay, right. Okay, so are there any questions, Mr. from the officers?
Not at this stage, Chair. Thank you.
And I believe Mr. Rye should be available to ask questions if you have any, Mr. Rye.
Sir, I don't have a specific questions. I work with the police, and I always will work with the police, and I always seek guidance.
Yeah, can I just stop you? You will have an opportunity to make your own statement. Is at this time, do you have any questions?
I don't have a specific questions. There's a couple of misunderstanding. There's a training file, second file. I did find it the next day. I thought one of the staff has taken it to update it, but it was still in the premises, which was after the 2020. Now we.
Sorry, Chair, just to interrupt. Sorry, Mr. Rye. Just if there's no further questions, if the Chair is happy for Mr. Rye to make his presentation.
Yeah, that's what I was trying.
Sorry.
You jumped in before I could.
Yes.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry.
Chair, if I may have just one question, please.
Yes, certainly, Belgique.
This to the police is just for clarification purposes. Is the Town Link radio system actually working at the moment? So regardless of whether or not the system's broken or whether anyone uses it, is it still operational?
Mr. Wood, can you help us with that?
Yeah, I can.
Can I come in on the town radio, sir?
Well, can I? Let's stick with Belgique. You've asked a question.
Yeah, it's just a question to the police.
I think that PC is it PC Edwards?
PC Danny Wood, Chair.
Danny Wood. Sorry, Danny. Yeah. So
No
I've got a long list of names here, and I'm not sure I've got faces attributed to them all. Okay,
No
but you were trying.
Yeah, just to answer that question, Chair. I was in Hounslow Police Station during this week, obviously, with regards to this incident, and the Hounslow Town Centre team were using their radio to contact businesses with regards to any issues on the high street. So as far as I'm aware, yes, it is still being used on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Mr. Wood.
Right, anything more there, Baljeet?
No, Joe, I was just asking for clarification on that point. That's all.
Okay. Right. So no other questions of Mr. Stewart. I've got it, not Mr. Stewart, Mr. Rankin, sorry. It is Mr. Rankin, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, Chairman, yes.
Well,
There's one other I should have added that we begin to see a defence from Mr. Raj, which says this: I've always cooperated with the police. The police asked Mr. Rai not to open this weekend voluntarily, and it was perfectly clear that rather than working with the police, he was determined to work against the police, and that despite all of the events that took place in the early hours of the morning of the stabbing, he was intent on reopening, and that's a matter of concern.
Can I come in, sir?
Well, I'll give you the opportunity to make your comments in a few moments.
Okay.
Right. Okay, Baljeet, we're at the end of that. Is it now into our offer to the applicant, or not the applicant, the license holder, to make his statement now?
Yes, if there's no other questions, then the chair can invite Mr. Rai to.
Any others around that are around? If anybody's got any, still got a question of Mr. Rankin, please just show. No, nothing happening. Right, okay then. I'll go now to the license holder, Mr. Rai. Yes, you can make your comments now.
Sir, please did not ask me to close this weekend. They simply asked me, what are you doing? I said, I suppose we open on the weekend. They did not say to me, close this weekend. If they say to me, a happily closed day on the weekend, I have no issue whatsoever. He simply asked me, Mr. Wood, what are you doing this weekend? He did not specifically say to me, close it because X, Y, Z. He did not say that to me, sir. Right? I tried to talk to him. I called him yesterday and saying we are not going to be opening because I've spoken with a licensing consultant agency because we're bringing them on board for training and everything. We are not opening till everything is put in place. So I tried calling him yesterday. I didn't get no response. Then I sent him a text and saying we are not opening. Under no circumstances, Mr. Wood asked me to close this weekend, sir. Right? He simply asked me, what are you doing this weekend?
Can I just get clarification there? Did you actually? You say that you're now closed. Did you actually have you operated since this incident?
No, sir.
Not at all. You've not opened at all.
Not at all, sir.
All right. Okay.
And on the town radio, no licensed premises at night or no licensed premises have any town radio whatsoever. The only town radio operates, which is during the day, the shopkeepers, right? It's only one person got a town radio. We have the town radio, but we can't talk to nobody because nobody else got the town radio. So we can't get any information from other licensed premises whatsoever. We still have, I never said the town radio doesn't work. Of course it works. Right? It's fully charged at all times. Right? We can't talk with nobody because no other licensed premises have the town radio, sir.
But can you talk to police?
We can only talk to the CCTV operators. That's all we can talk with.
But then that's where it's okay. All right, I won't interrupt you anymore. No, okay, go
on. As I said, I always cooperated with the police, and I always will, and it will be closed until all license objectives are achieved. We already order some body cams and extra wands, metal detectors, and these consultancy people will come on board next week, and everybody will be trained in everything till the guidance from the police. We will not open till everything is achieved. I am no interest whatsoever to open unless everything is safe to operate, sir. So when Mr. Rankin said, I do not cooperate, I do cooperate, right? If they say to me, X, Y, Z, any intel, I will close it, right? And Mr. Rankin made a comment about the 28th of October 2019. That is a Monday, sir. We never opened on Monday, sir.
Sorry, are you saying that the situation on Club K on the 28th of October 2019 didn't happen?
Well, we never opened.
No, that's not what I asked you. You're saying that it never happened. I mean, that might be because it was 2017 on a Sunday night. I don't know.
No, it's 2019. It was on the.
No, it said 2018. I thought I had.
No, it's a 28th.
Sorry, 2019, 28th of October. Yeah.
Yeah, that is when I looked on the calendar. It was showing me on Monday. We never open on Monday. We always on the weekend. Friday.
Right. Sorry, that's not what I'm asking. You're saying you never open. So are you denying that this?
No, sir. I have not looked into.
Sorry, let me finish. Sorry. Are you denying that this event that Mr. Rankin mentioned? Are you denying that it happened? I'm trying to get clarity on what you're saying.
Sir, I am not denying anything. All I'm saying is the date. I look on the calendar. We will go through the books. If there is anything, I cannot say it's wrong or right. I'm just stipulating the date on that day.
Yeah, Mr. Wright, as is here, if I could just ask you to wait a second, I just want to make sure that Councillor Foot, the chair, is there. Sorry, Chair, did you catch the? Sorry, Chair, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, I got interrupted by somebody at the door. Right.
Yeah, that's all right. Would you like Mr. Wright to repeat the last thing that he said, just to make sure that, or did you hear it?
Yeah, please do.
Sir, I am not denying anything. All I made a comment about the date. The 28th of October 2019 is a Monday date. We open on Fridays and Saturdays, always open, right? Never any parties have on the weekdays, because never ever. But I'm not saying denying. I have to look back in every place in the book, then I can find out it took place or not, because we have a logs for security, we have a logs for bookings, we have a logs for that, and I will go back and look at the moment. I'm not denying yes, it happened, not happened. So I was just saying the date, the 28th of October was Monday. That's all I'm saying, sir. So I'm not saying they got it wrong or anything, sir. You're mute, sir.
Sorry, carry on.
That's comment. So I'm not saying the police is wrong. They're right. I just made a comment about the date, sir. That's all. And I put my hands up. Things should have been done better, and I want to make it better. So I will listen to whatever is the police guidance is.
I think there's probably 3 people that would say, yeah, you're right. People with knife wounds.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's move on. Any questions of Mr. Rife from Medea? Do you have any questions?
Just one, Mr. Rife, if possible.
Yes,
I just wanted to find out whether there is a vetting process in place to check the ID of people when they're booking the venue.
Yes, we do. We ask them send an ID of when they do booking, and we did provide that ID to the police of the person who booked the party.
Okay.
It was a private party, not promoted party.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Right, thank you. Yeah, can I follow up on that? It was a private party, but the guests that came, were they notified, or could they be any number of guests coming? I mean,
No,
you know, the one person organised a private party, but I mean, that one person could advertise that extensively in where have we got it, Wandsworth, Lambeth, or any of those areas, because you're not. I mean, it's you don't have a list of names sent to you on who's going to attend.
no, sir, we didn't have a list of guests. It was invitee only, according to the person who booked it. It was not promoted on a social media. We haven't seen nothing promoted on the social media where there was no charge made to all the guests she had. There was no charge at the door or pre-sold tickets, of none of that. It was a private party. When she booked it, it was a birthday party. Nothing we've seen on a social media where she promoted it. There was a birthday party going on in Hounslow.
Well, I've got something here, DJ Blue, March the 19th, £10 entry, Saturday night rave. Is that not promoting the event you just talked about?
No, sir. That is.
Can
Yes,
you
sir.
that?
I've seen that, sir. This is.
You've seen it, but you just said you haven't seen anything.
No, this event is nothing to do with the birthday party, sir. That was an event going on. It's an in-house, the club. This DJ is permanently plays every week, week in, week out. We had a second room where we was opened for local people, sir. This is not connected with the birthday party, sir. This is the night. This is the night which is promoted by the club itself, sir. The DJ works.
You said local people.
Yes, sir.
And everybody in that. I'm puzzled here because I've had conflicting comments made about whether there's one room or there's two rooms, or whether one room is just a small room where people can sit. I'm really very confused by this. Is there two rooms with two groups of people who were invited? Now, if were this small group that you talked about, or the small room, did anybody from the big group enter that small room?
No, sir. We have a wristband system. Only people allowed in there, which was given the wristband, which is regular people who comes in every week, and nobody from the private party allowed in there. So we had a wristband system, sir.
So can I just confirm? You're saying this in this here?
Yes, sir.
That actually relates to the small room.
Yes, sir.
And you charge £10 entry.
Correct, sir.
Okay. And how many people is it restricted to?
It was about 60, sir.
60.
Yes.
What's the total capacity of the club?
300, sir.
300.
Yes,
on your doorman's report, let me see. I've got door supervisor's log.
Yeah.
Of which there are 6 people whose names are basically unreadable.
Yes, sir.
But these 6 people are your supervisors. You don't list the 4 that come in after. They don't get on this list.
No, sir. There's a second page on that same book, sir.
So that we haven't got the second page.
You haven't got the second page, sir.
Right. Okay. Can I just ask there, because it says there venue capacity, and I can't read it, but it looks like 110 on this log, door supervisor's log. There's capacity check log, venue capacity, and there's a figure there that looks like 110.
No, sir. They check it regularly how many people are in.
So why have they written
how many people
110
goes
there?
out, sir?
Well, I'm sorry, it's your paperwork. Why is
Yes,
it
sir.
110?
That's not a total capacity, sir. 110. That's how many people was that particular time.
No, it says here venue capacity, and you've written, or somebody has written, 110 by the side of it. Now,
No,
venue
sir.
capacity is not something else. venue capacity is as clear as mud.
I haven't got the book, sir. Maybe it's a mistake on there, but that's not capacity.
But you're the manager. Do you check these logs to see that they're being entered accurately?
I'm not the manager, sir.
Sorry, you're the
DPS,
so
right? Who should check it, right? I haven't personally.
But DPS is responsible to you, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
So you don't know whether the DPS is doing his job properly?
Well, I hope he's doing his job properly, sir.
That's not what I asked. I said, do you know whether he's doing his job properly?
I know he's doing his job properly, sir.
But he didn't do it here.
That. Why would somebody put up their maximum capacity of 110? I do not know, sir.
So the maximum capacity is what?
300, sir.
300.
Yes, sir.
Is that the total across both venues? Both?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Both sides. Yeah.
300.
Yes, sir.
So how many people were there on the Saturday night?
Including the staff security, 305, sir.
305. Sorry, I won't count the staff. I presume there's 10 staff there on security alone. So it's something.
There's about 30 people was a staff on that night, sir.
Okay.
Because the DJs, security, the
okay. So the actual customers coming in was something in the region of 270.
Total, yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Right, let me just refer. So there's one person who booked. No, we said that, didn't you? You said you didn't get any names. You just got the name of the person booking.
The person's ID and the full name, sir.
Okay. So are they told? Are they held to any responsibilities as the person booking? What do you expect of them?
Well, we expect them to follow the conditions of the club, right? The dress code, IDs, the age. They need to, go according to that.
And numbers of people?
They booked for approximately 150 people.
But there were 270 there.
That's including the back room, sir.
How many were in the back room?
Probably 60, 70, sir.
Okay, all right, so that's 210.
That's including the staff, sir.
No,
so
it's not. I've already taken staff. I already took the staff off. I already took the staff off when you told me first time.
Yes, that would be correct.
So she exceeded the number that she asked for.
She asked for, yes, sir.
But she exceeded that.
Yeah, because the capacity of the club is 300. So if there is an overcapacity, we will let people in.
But you don't know whether they were guests of this individual or just strangers off the street.
No, sir, because the guest of that particular person coming in, they had wristbands, right? They are guests of that particular person, sir.
So who issued the wristbands?
We issue the wristbands, so we give it to the person so they can put it on as they are attending the party.
Oh, so they don't have it prior to attending to the party?
They have a prior to the party, sir. We give them prior to the party.
Well, sorry, let me just wait for this plane to pass over. You're muddling me. I said to you about them having it prior, and you said they had it coming in. Now I'm puzzled. Now, how do you confirm that the person has booked for I think you said 150? How do you confirm that that's the number of people that have attended?
The people at the back room, sir, we give them.
No, ignore them. The main room. How do you confirm how many are there and are guests of this individual? How do you confirm that?
We did not count the people in the one room. The other room is a total capacity of the club.
So I don't know the purpose of having an individual invite people to attend if anybody can come in.
No, sir. It's on their guest list. Whoever she had on her guest list, she would given the wristband to that particular person. So people who entering it, they must show they have the wristband, sir.
But you had more people there than you. I mean, I'm presuming, how many wristbands did you issue to
her? 200, sir.
200. So that was more than she asked for.
More than she asked for, sir.
Right. Okay. Well, it took us a long time to get there, but okay. Right. So this incident happened after 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
You close at 4 o'clock, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So this is 20 past 4, and the patrons were still inside the club.
We allowed to clear 30 minutes after the closing, sir. And I did call the police myself. It's on record. I called the police when I saw the scuffle at the reception, sir.
Well, I don't see any evidence of that, but never mind.
It's mentioned in that report, and I got, evidence on my phone, and there's a recorded
evidence I see is your staff denying that it took place in the club and that it took place outside on the pavement. That's the evidence I see.
Because people saw it was by the reception door. It wasn't inside where the dance floor was. So I don't know what individual.
No, your staff denied that it took place.
I don't know what they said, sir. I have not
questioned them. It's in the report.
It's a police question there.
You've got the report. It says quite clearly in there.
I saw the report, sir. I don't know what they said, what they saw.
It said in there.
What I saw, I was standing inside the club. What I saw, everything was happening is in the reception and by the reception doors from the club. It was nothing on the actual main dance floor, sir. You can see the CCTV. I've watched 100 times this CCTV since Sunday, right? 100 times I've seen it, different things. I'm trying to, I'm stressed out. I'm trying to find out why it's happened and trying to learn something. So this is, I've seen that, right? I called the police, sir. They have a record of my call.
Yeah, I'll check that later. Okay. Sorry, it was Mr. Onkar. You remembered he did, in fact, 2 separate events.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'm just reading off the notes. But there's a number of breaches to your conditions. I mean, the police not being notified within 14 days of the event. You didn't do that, or who does that? Do you do it?
I will do, sir, but there was no promoted event happening, sir. So how can I report it? There was not promoted event. It was a private party, not advertised, not promoted, not selling tickets. It was not a promoted event, sir.
Right. So you had no input over this leaflet that was put out about information.
The leaflet you so that's the club leaflet for the back room, sir. It was not connected with the private party, sir.
But does the 3 a.m. Apply to the back room?
It applies to the whole club, sir.
So the last entry into the club, 3 a.m.
Yes, sir.
The whole club.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't say that on this leaflet that was published. There's no evidence on there. There's nothing on there. I'm reading it. There's nothing on there. It says last entry 3 a.m.
I can't remember, sir, but you got the front of you. Whatever you say, sir, I can't. Say.
Well, it's your premises. It's not up to me to check it. It's up to you. Right, let's go on. Again, these doormen that you had there, are they regular doormen?
Yes, sir.
So they should know the rules, shouldn't they?
Yes, sir.
So can you explain why they were allowing people who'd gone out to come back in again without being researched?
People who step outside the door and they looking for people, they step back in there. They shouldn't allow it. Absolutely, they shouldn't allow this, sir. I put my hands up there, and the security should have done better job.
And have you the wand? You know, why was it that you thought that it wasn't essential to use the wand all the time?
I didn't say it's not essential, sir. It's very much essential, right? When people are dressed up the way they dressed up, say, then it's a clear cut. This is what I believe is it needs to be searched with a wand. Because when they're searching by hand, they do search properly. They go right down to the socks in there. Again, sir, I put my hands up on that part in there. Right, it should have been done, sir. Absolutely. No excuse, sir. No excuse whatsoever.
So the people that were injured in this fight, were they part of the audience of the big room or were they part of the audience of the small room?
A big room, sir.
Big room, okay. So they were guests? No, not guests. Oh, I'm getting confused. Who's been invited as guests? The big room was guests invited, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So they are guests that have been invited, but we don't know who they are because they gave false names.
I don't know what name they're given, sir.
No, well, I'm only reading again in the report, which I believe you've had a copy of.
Yes, I have a copy of it, but we also have the ID scanner. I think, given to the police the full ID thing, which everybody is ID, sir.
Okay, right. Well, that's all my questions. I don't know if any officers have any questions.
Not for now, thank you, Chair.
Mr. Rankin, do you have any questions? Mr. Rye?
No, sir. No, sir.
No questions. Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, did you say yes, Mr. Rankin?
No questions. Thank you, Chairman.
No questions. Okay, fine. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Chair,
No, thank you, Chair.
Sorry, who's that?
It's PC Kerry Smart. No, I don't have any questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chair, again, Mr. Birdie here, just a question to Mr. Rye, more for clarification. With regards to the small room and the big room, you said that the people from the big room can't go into the small room where the DJ is playing. That's correct, because they've got wristbands.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and are people from the small room allowed out into the big room?
No, sir.
Okay, so they're two separate
Yes, sir.
events. Okay, and thank you. And also, it was said by the police that they saw CCTV footage where you were by the security when they weren't using the wand. Is that correct?
I was downstairs a number of times. Yes, sir. I was downstairs, sir.
Okay.
Chair, may I just clarify something on regards to two parties, if that's all right?
Yeah, sure. So that's yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Just so you're aware, the guests for the VIP room go in, exit, and entrance and exit to the private party. The guests for the VIP room, which was the paying guests, have to walk through the main part of the club to get to the VIP room. Just so you can clarify how the entrance and exit is.
Yeah, it did look like that to me, I must admit. Yeah. Because there's stairs going up, aren't there, on the side out of the main? Is that correct, Mr. Ryan, that the stairs going up out of the big hall up to the VIP room?
The stairs goes up to the reception room, sir. Then he opens up into the main room. Mr. Wood is correct. The guest for the back room has to go through the main room to the reach to the back, sir.
Okay, all right, okay. Okay, right. Yes, my dear, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, Chair. Just a point of clarification from Mr. Rai, if I may. Is the small VIP room at the back manned with its own security personnel as well? Or are the only
Yes.
personnel to the premises at the front of the...
No, they are also manned with the security as well.
Okay, and how many security personnel are there at one time?
Two. They keep floating, changing over, two at a time. It's a small room. It's a two at a time.
So how many, sorry, because I'm a bit puzzled by this number.
Yes, sir.
How many security staff, SIA approved security staff, were present on that night?
It was a present at 10, but we also had extra security where these other security personnel not booked in the book, but they work in pubs where they finish 2 o'clock. They come in just in case we need hand.
So they're part of the 10 or more than the 10?
Well, 10 is officially there, but these other securities available if I want to use them. Then they will register, they put their badges on, they put their highways on, then I can use them, right? They're on offer because they come in after they finish their pub job, which is usually by 2 o'clock. So.
Okay, well, I've got door supervisors log shows 6. So
yeah, because the second page is not being copied.
You didn't publish the second page or didn't pass the second page on?
I didn't take the picture, sir. It's the officer, whoever took it.
Okay. So there were 10 on?
Yes, sir.
And then more after that?
2 o'clock, we did have 5, 6 people who work in the local pubs, sir. Okay. There's from Wallstone, there's another 2 pubs where they're working, they come in.
Okay. Right. Any other questions from anybody?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay. Right, Raj, where are we now? I'm still at this agenda and not following it very well. Order of business is just order of business. Are we ready now for... is there any other areas that need questioning?
There's an area of clarification. Since the meeting started, I've had communication from the officers that indicate that a brief trawl of social media has revealed that 25, at least, of the persons present at the events that night have known gang affiliation.
That's on the internet.
That's the search of the internet has linked 25 attendees at least with gang affiliations.
Are these separate gangs or one gang?
I can't help you on that.
You don't know. Okay, no, it's all right. I just wondered because reference elsewhere, as I think in your earlier comments, you referred to several gangs.
Yes, the two identified gangs. For review, we will have more detail on the actual gangs that these 25 were affiliated with.
And the people that were injured, Am I right in believing that we don't know their identity?
We know two of the victims. We have their identities. The third member gave a false name.
So the two, did they come from the same area?
No, they came from different areas. The first came from Wandsworth with the gang known as 17 Octree, and the second came from the South Lambeth area with the Myatts Field 410 gang.
So two looks like two gangs could be involved. I'm not saying they were involved, but they could be involved.
Certainly.
Okay. Any other questions from anybody?
Yes, Chair, this is Mr. Verdi.
Yes.
To the police, Mr. Rye said that he has since contacted you to say that he would not be opening this weekend. I don't know if there's any comment or response on that.
Mr. Woods, are you the one to deal with that?
Yes, certainly. Yeah. I have had a missed call from Mr. Rye on my work phone. Unfortunately, I've only seen it this morning. But I can clarify he did call me. But unfortunately, I didn't get that time to. I was off duty and that was my work number and I didn't answer it. And I've seen the missed calls this morning.
And just for clarification, did you ask Mr. Rye to close?
I did. I mentioned to Mr. Rye that we would advise that he closes due to any repercussions, of which he said there wouldn't be because he was going to ban everybody.
But not. But he would stay open.
He was definitely going to stay open. Yes.
Okay. Well, okay.
I think Mr. Rye's not happy with my answer, Chair.
Right. Well, make your comment, Mr. Wright.
Sir, if Mr. Wood say to me, we want you to close this weekend, next weekend, whatever is there, I would gladly done so. He did not put the words in that manner, sir. He simply asked me, what are you doing
Right. Well, look,
this week, sir?
I think from our point of view, we can only log that there is a disagreement between you two of what was said, and I'm not going to take
I also sent Mr. Wood a text as well saying we are closed, the venue will be closed, right? And I did send the text as well because when I could not raise Mr. Wood yesterday, right? So I would gladly close it. I would not.
So from this incident, when would you normally be opening next?
When all these conditions are, we are bringing in the licensing specialist agency. So
no, that's not what I asked you. I said, from this incident that took place, when would be your next normal opening?
On Friday, normally, sir.
Okay, so nothing was opening after this incident, which was Saturday night.
No, sir.
Until what? Today?
Until today, sir. Yes, until today.
Right. So okay. So it's largely irrelevant about opening between, and it's about today.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, you're at a hearing. That hearing may have a view on that anyway.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, is there any other questions? If not, Mr. LG, are we able to retire at this stage?
Yes, Chair. If there's no other issues, then that any officers have, then the members can adjourn and go into deliberation room to consider this matter and come back and inform the parties of its decision.
Okay. Well, before I do that, I'll just double check and ask if anybody has anything else to add at this stage.
Yeah, I think we're at point 11, Councillor Foote, where the officer presenting advises the panel on procedures and options open to them. So we just need to hear that before you close. So it's back to Charlie, I think. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you've lost me there somewhere. Judge, what you saying?
Right. In the order of business, we're at point 11. The officer presenting advises the panel on procedures and options open to them before you retire to deliberate.
Yeah, well, I haven't had that paper that lists 11. I've got an agenda which goes up 1 to 6. Yeah.
So if I come in as for part of the officer presenting, obviously we now go to the room for deliberation. But what has been applied for the police?
You won't come to the room for deliberation.
No, I'm sorry. Members go to the deliberate. What is being applied for is to. I'll run through the 4 points again. For the interim step to be considered was to modify the conditions of the license, to exclude the sale of alcohol by retail from the scope of the license, to remove the designated premises supervisor from the license, or to suspend the license.
Okay, right. Okay, Mr. Verdi, right, are we ready then? We're off to go.
Yes, Chair. If yourself and Councillor are ready, then you just have to announce the meeting's adjourned. For
Okay, well, I don't know how long this is going to take. Usually on our panels, we say that we expect to reach some sort of decision within about 15 minutes. However, this is not quite a normal panel. So we try and reach a decision as quickly as possible, as long as it's a proper decision. And then we will come back to you. So I would ask if persons present who are going to be here, if they could remain here, if at all possible, until we return. But as I say, we won't be lingering. We won't be going off to make tea or anything. We will be dealing with this. So hopefully it will be as quick as possible. So I'm now going to ask my colleagues to now retire to the room. We call it. It's a room. It's a virtual room. Right.
Sorry to keep you. It won't be too much longer now. Possibly 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who have we got?
Everybody's back.
Everybody in? Okay. Right, I didn't check on my watch how much time we took, but it feels like it was more than a quarter of an hour, so I apologise for that. But it's yes, very complex and something that we have to consider all aspects of it. So it was important that we took the time to do just that. We have come to an agreement. That agreement is that we are suspending the license with immediate effect. But the current feature, the reasons for this are the current features of the license conditions being breached, including failures to search visitors by metal detector on entry and re-entering, and enabling people in after 3 a.m. There were other items, other things as well as that, but you know, these were the main ones. The second assessment on the second feeling on this is the risk assessment given by police of recurring gang problems because of the notification that there were at least 2 gangs involved, and 2 of the injuries appeared to come from separate gangs. Now, we are very considerate of that, and obviously the last thing we want in our high street is gang warfare. So whatever we can do to eliminate that, we will do. There will be written notice sent out as soon as possible, but certainly by early next week, this being Friday. You will have written notice of what our decision, the full decision that we've made, will be sent out within the first few days of next week. I thank you for your attendance and declare this meeting closed.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
My dear, could you hold on a while? Yeah, I just want a quick chat before when everybody's gone. Yeah.
Councillor, if both of you would to chat, you might want to go back to the deliberation room.
Yes,
just
please.
to ensure a bit of privacy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. If we can do that, my dear.
Do you require me there or?
No.
Okay.
No. All right. No.
Thank
fine.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Badger.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Roy.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.